You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Let's get spooky. You found Earth Station Boo, where horror lives, legends linger, and laughs are always waiting. Stay with us. You know you're dying to listen. And welcome to the Spooky Cookie Podcast of Earth Station Boo, where we talk all things horror. Introducing our horror holocaust with the most, we got our kick-ass Karen.
What up, my horrorholics?
I'm your terrifying T. And today, we're actually going to be reviewing a book called Ghost Virus. So, let's get spooky.
We're Sean and Leah, and this is Have Coffee, Will Travel.
The show where caffeine fuels our hot takes on movies, pop culture, travel misadventures, and whatever weird thing happened in the news this week.
Basically, we drink coffee and pretend it makes us smarter.
It doesn't, but it does make us funnier.
So grab your mug.
And your sense of adventure. And join us for Have Coffee, Will Travel. Because life's too short for bad coffee and boring podcasts.
Are you a horrorholic? Then take your horror obsession beyond the podcast. Check out Earth Station Boo's merch store for killer designs to let the world know that you live for the scares. You can also join our Discord and hang out with fellow little ghouls, talk monsters, movies, and midnight madness. And if you want to support the show directly, visit our throne to keep the screams and laughs coming. Find everything in our link tree, and remember, stay spooky. All right, so we are going to be doing Ghost Virus. This was written by Graham Masterton. Karen, you're the one who was like, hey, we should totally do this book. Why don't you go ahead and kind of tell them like a quick summary of what this book is about?
Okay, so mysterious deaths, murders, but who is doing them? Is it a masked marauder? Is it terrorists? Is it gangs? Or is it a virus? So the story follows two detectives. It takes place in London, so if or in England. So if you get like really weird about like what's it, DSI or DC, that's like a sergeant and chief and whatever. But it follows these two detectives as they try to solve this weird case of just murders and suicide and things that just goes wrong because there's no connection between any of them, and so they have to come, face to face. Like, is it just a mass hysteria or is it something supernatural that is infecting their victims? And how do we stop it? Or how do they stop it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Honestly, this was actually a really good book. Or at least I thought so. We're obviously going to give our ratings at the end and all that. This is written by Graham Masterton. He is from Edinburgh and is a British horror author, though that's not how his career started. He actually has a pretty interesting career, and I think actually that's why I think he was so good at writing this. Do you want to tell them what he used to do before he started writing horror?
Well, he was a journalist, and then he became like editor of Penthouse. Yeah. An editor at Penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't know what Penthouse is. Y'all gonna have to look that up because I'm not gonna describe it to you. But he was also an editor at Mayfair as well, so it kind of balances out
a little bit. He was a writer and editor for those guys, and so he had a very interesting career. His first novel,
The Manitou,
that was published in 1976, and then actually got adapted to a film in 1978. But he's actually won quite a few awards, and I won't lie, like, I think his writing style was kind of cool. I liked a lot of the stuff, so we're gonna go ahead. This is book one of 5 books?
Yeah, this is the book one of the Patel and Pardoe series.
Yeah. So you have Ghost Virus, which is the first one. You have The Children God Forgot.
Yeah.
The Shadow People, What Hides in the Cellar, and House of Flies. So we may do more. I will be perfectly honest, I'm very much a skeptic of series because I usually find that I don't like the following books as much as I liked the first book. So if we do decide to do it, it will be because we have enjoyed the rest of the series. But we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
So Karen, when did this book win you over?
Well, I would have to say the description because I was like looking for something to read.
Yeah.
And when I read about the whole rash murders and suicide, I was like, oh, not to like say suicide and murders are like, a good thing. It was just more of that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And it said ghost virus as the book. And I was like, huh, is there some sort of virus going around, making people like, die?
Yeah.
So I read like the first chapter and I was like, you know what? Let me continue reading. I actually found the book on Bookmate because I was reading some sort of trashy novel, and
Okay.
it was like, if you want to continue reading this, you could like go here. And I was like, damn it. And eventually, I finished it, and then I was like, let's see if these horror novels appear, And so I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. No, that is kind of cool. I read it because you suggested it for us to do. And it was pretty early on that I got hooked into it. I was like, okay, I like the way that, Homeboy describes things. I like the way that he verbalizes some of the stuff. I felt like the dialogue wasn't like overdone because sometimes like they overdo dialogue because it's a book and they're like, we have to talk, which you don't have to talk.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of like just chill, man.
Yeah. But I don't know exactly what point it was that it hooked me, but it was pretty early on that I was like, ooh, okay, I got to keep listening to this. Just so you guys know, I don't only listen to audiobooks. However, it is easy for me to fast pace a book. Something I like, if I like need to read something quicker, it's easier for me to do it via audiobook. ADHD, haha, fun. But also, I have a very active lifestyle. So listening is a lot easier than trying to hold a book while walking a dog. So, but no, it was really good. It was fun. The audiobook was actually enjoyable to listen to, which is not always the case. Sometimes the person reading isn't as fun to listen to as they could be.
Yeah, because it depends on like some voice actors. You're like, you could have gotten somebody else to do this, or they're not doing character voices.
Yeah.
Like when my sister-in-law reads, she does character voices, and when I read in my head, I do character voices. But like when there's like monotone,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, that's not
Yeah.
great.
I mean, they had like a male reading it, but what was nice is when he did the female voices, he would tone them to be female. Like the and by tone, I mean like not just like making his voice higher or something like that, but giving it a more like sing-songy tone that women usually speak in versus
Yeah.
the monotone type of tone that men usually speak in. So it was nice that like, he was actually pretty decent. I wish I could remember who it was. But anyways, so let's dive into like the storytelling and plot.
Okay.
The book structure is kind of like a detective procedural wrapped up in supernatural horror premise. How well does that structure serve for this story for you? And does it ever feel like the two genres are fighting each other?
I think for me, like crime procedurals and supernatural go hand in hand because there's a structure for crime procedural and you can add in that supernatural vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy it because of the fact that it made the supernatural seem not real because it made you
Yeah.
question what's going on. Like these people just killing themselves. Like, you can't have these things happen for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Clothes don't do that. And it makes you question your sanity as
Yeah.
well as a detective's sanity. And then you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel like they're fighting each other. It feels like they just go hand in hand. with the storytelling that he's trying to, go about and achieve.
I completely agree. I think there are some authors that it is a little, one hits a little harder than the next, because you can tell like that's where maybe their expertise is when it comes to writing. But
Yeah.
Homeboy like married these so well. Like I don't think I could see this story being heavy in either aspect. And if it would never have, like, I don't think he would have been able to have a full series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he married it so well that it blended it seamlessly. Like, the horror was horrifying enough that you were like, okay, wow, this is like cool and crazy. But at the same time, there was enough common crime drama type stuff that you were like still solid in that. I think it kind of worked. I think it like the criminal side grounded it while the horror side elevated it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Because for this type of horror, like for the absurdness of a virus attacking people through clothes, you needed to be grounded through something. Because it's like, oh, that's just crazy. And then when you go throughout the whole procedural aspect of it, you're like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yup. Some people didn't like the pacing for this book. Some found it kind of relentless. Others found it uneven. Where did it land for you with the pacing?
So I was it kind of felt disjointed for me, because it kind of like, you had your fast pace and it slowed down and it kept slowing down and it picked up again. And it's like, some of the parts felt like it was dragging on.
Yes.
And then other parts was like, oh shit, you're getting hit by hit and hit and hit and hit. And then it drowns on again. And I'm like, I powered through it because I enjoyed the story. I understood where, people thought where, it was relentless, because, some of the parts, did become relentless, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Especially the murders and killing. You're like, fuck. And then, after that, you're like, oh, I'm just going to be lulled to sleep now because you're all just talking. But, I enjoyed it because, the story got me hooked.
I think the pacing is my only complaint, really. There were parts of it where I'm like, I don't feel like any of this information is relevant.
Yeah.
Like, I get that you're slowing down from like everything that just happened, and you're kind of starting to ramp things back up to the next whatever, but like none of this is relevant.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I get that he needed to have like a human element to Jerry, the one detective.
Yeah.
And so he had the ex-wife and the kid and the whole nine. But I feel like that was like super inconsequential. It wasn't enough in the story for it to have been relevant. So unless it's in like the later series of these two characters, because that's what the whole series is just these two characters and them working together.
Yeah.
So unless it becomes a little bit more relevant in the later on in the series, like, okay, I guess it's good to like introduce them. But other than the one scene with his kid, like they weren't needed. And even then, the scene with his kid, it could have literally been anybody else.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he could have been like going on a date with somebody.
Exactly.
Could have been like, Patel, like this, driving home or something.
It could have been like a neighbor kid that he was taking home.
Yeah.
Like he saw walking down the street and was like, hey, just hop in. I'll give you a ride home. Like, yeah, it was just one of those deals where I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And like, I felt like with that scene specifically, things weren't paced very well. It was very like, is this not an important scene, or is this an important scene? I don't know what's going on right now. To me, it was a little weird.
Yeah, like I understood, like he talked about his family. I'm like, okay, cool, you have a family. Great, that's amazing. But to add scenes with his family, I'm like, I really didn't need that.
Yeah. I felt like that added to the weird pacing.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, okay. Like anything that I thought was odd, I'm like, I really hope that like it was something you needed to know for like future books in the series.
And yeah, because, also I was kind of upset that we didn't go back around. Like, okay, so your daughter gets attacked. You can't really tell your wife what happened, or your ex-wife what happened. And then after that, he's like, well, you need to get a lawyer because of blah, 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 blah. And then you don't come around to it again.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, it has to be in the other books.
It has to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it say that these are standalone books?
they are standalone, but they're also part of a series. I think they're part of, they're not really standalone. I think they're actually really part of series because the first one is Ghost Virus. Then
Yeah.
you have, the Children of God, or the Children God Forgot.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure if they're standalone because I haven't read part 2 yet to see if they're standalone or if they
Okay.
could continue on. It's on my to read list right now.
TBR.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wait till you read it.
Okay. Because right now I've been tasked to read Dungeon Crawler Carl
Mm-hmm.
because my sister-in-law wants to read it, so I have to read that first and then go back to the series.
I have my TBR open because of Dragon Con. So
Yeah.
yeah, so unless it's a happy easy read for me, it's gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
Obviously the book carries some significant trigger warnings. There's gore, there's body manipulation, obviously some definitely some uncomfortable subject matter, including suicide. How do you think Masterton kind of handled a lot of that content? And do you think it actually served the story? Do you think any of it crossed lines?
I mean,
how did you feel about a lot of it?
I felt, some of the scenes, I really felt, were needed in there. Like, I'm sorry for the poor, first girl that, died.
Yeah.
But you needed to see, oh, this is what we're up against.
Yeah.
And then, it goes on and on to each person that gets infected. You can see that breakdown of humanity, and you needed that.
Yeah.
Now, the other part, I was kind of like, I didn't need to see how these people were killed. Okay. Like the poor couple that walked upon them and they got
Mindy?
ran. Yeah. The two little couples, that couple. I was like, I didn't really need that one. I didn't.
Mindy was
Oh, Mindy, I was talking about Mindy. I understood Mindy, but I'm talking about like later on in the book where coats were just coming alive and just
that one
killing people.
couple.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
couple. I was like, he really didn't have to go that far. He really didn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
that one did go a little.
yeah,
I mean, he didn't have to go as far into the detailing of it as he did.
yeah.
I mean,
So I was like,
it's not to say like it's not to say like it was out of place because it kind of like was tracking with all the things that were happening. But
yeah,
like that specific scene, like we already knew what people were doing.
yeah, very knew what these clothes are doing, but you didn't really have to go into that graphic detail, especially with the woman. I was like, hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, you could have this because you already had the first victim
Mm-hmm.
getting attacked by coats, and you could have just said the second victims were also attacked, but you didn't have to go into that gory detail. I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind gore, but at the same time, I was kind of like,
That was kind of like a heavier moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you knew it was going to build up to like the whole mass murder. I mean, I already knew it was going to build up the whole mass murder, but I didn't need that detail,
Yeah. Yeah. I overall, I think he handled a lot of it pretty well because there wasn't a lot of the way that he wrote it was neutral in feeling a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you were reading it and going, "Oh my god, this person's getting off on this." It was very much more of a here's how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the correct terminology for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
The person doing it is into it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like it's not it to me never really came off as like a, oh, let's be disrespectful or like let's be egregious with this or like it wasn't like he was going out of his way to make torture porn.
Yeah, it wasn't, it wasn't
What,
really, you needed that
mm-hmm.
diabolicalness because of what's going to happen. Because you just think,
Yeah.
oh, these individuals are just killing people. And then you realize, oh, this is much bigger than you thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first scene, you could viscerally see what was happening with the way that he
Yeah.
wrote that first scene, which is a young woman pouring sulfuric acid, like pure straight sulfuric acid on her face and killing herself. And he went into detail, like even to the point of the character going, oh, the acid has eaten away my nerve endings because I can't feel things anymore.
Mm.
Like, okay, you did your research. You like you figured some stuff out, and it was like it was the scene that you sat there and you're like, holy shit. Okay, so now I know what I've got myself into.
Yeah, like I like when I read it, I was like, oh, okay. Let's continue reading. Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I felt bad. I was like, shit, she killed herself. Why did she kill herself? And then you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, were there a few parts where I was like, you probably didn't need to do that? Yeah, but I would never say that it was like, this is abhorrent. How dare you do this? You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a few people that are just like, personally, I wouldn't have done that. But okay, that's you. Do you feel like this work itself is a standalone? Because I know we kind of like mentioned, are the books themselves standalones, but like, do you think this one specifically is?
After how it ended, I don't think it's a standalone because of the fact that holy shit, everybody in the police station is dead
True.
except for 2 people.
So does it mean they're in charge now?
I mean, it has to mean something because
Right?
now they're gonna be like, for me, I'm like, oh, y'all 2 survived this? Y'all gonna be part of the X-Files now. Y'all gonna do the weird shit if it comes through.
Right?
Because the way it ended, you're like, I have to say, their captain, Smiley, I felt sorry for him. Okay, he got his ear bitten off, and he has to deal with the public about what's going on, and then he ends up dead. I'm like, damn, this
Mm-hmm.
man got the short end of everything. But yeah, with the way the ended with those 2 surviving, I'm like, this can't be it, because it opens you up for like a whole new series of what ifs.
Well, like mostly because like they didn't actually finish.
No, because you
The
have
clues are
that
still out there.
majority of them, yeah, and you're like, oh, okay. So what about the other clothes?
Right?
I mean, you got the ones here in this area, and Jacobs was talking about multiple areas,
Mm-hmm.
and when we got to that scene, I was like, oh, he had something to do with this. He had something to do with this. I already knew, but what did he have? What's that information? And that whole interrogation scene, I was kind of like, this is taking forever.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like, you could have just said it in like 10 sentences or less. It's like, so we had this thing, we kind of fucked up, but we wanted money. Yeah. So this is what happened. But he had to go in this whole research. And I was like, oh, okay. And the way it ended, it didn't end really cleanly. That's the problem. It didn't end cleanly. So that's why it makes me think that, there is more to come. And then he wrote more to it. So the more books
Yeah.
of the 2. So I have to read part 2 to see like how those 2 fared. Cause who's gonna believe 2 lone officers about clothing come alive, even though you had like their version of the National Guard coming in. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we all saw this. This is not mass. We're going to cover it up like they're gangs, but we all know what we saw. Okay, and then the ending in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they couldn't have ended cleanly.
Yeah. I'm actually Googling to see if this is. Okay, so according to Google, the books are largely considered to be standalone friendly. While if you read them in order, it gives you the best experiences with the character development and tracking the personal lives of the detectives. So now we know for sure, like we find out more about their backstories. Each book is about a specific supernatural mystery and is a complete thing about said mystery.
Yeah. Also, I didn't much like the whole romance that was developing between
Mm-hmm.
the 2. I was like, you could have just left the romance out. I mean, not everybody has to fall in love with each other
Right?
in stories. Just because you have a male and female lead, don't mean you like have romance.
I mean,
They could be 2 separate people with their own lives.
exactly. And especially with them having such different backgrounds and like belief systems. And like not even just like, okay, she's one religion and ethnicity and he's a different religion and ethnicity, but like what they have belief wise is not on the same page. Like one would have to give up their belief system in order to cohabitate
Yeah.
effectively.
Yeah.
Like, and not to say like you can't you can't, but like just the overall, like it just wouldn't work. Like you're just sitting there looking at him like, at the end of the day, things aren't going to work well for you guys. Why would you want to?
Yeah.
I won't lie, I am intrigued to see how the other books go. But again, my personal experience with series, I find them not to be as good as they could be.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I'm skeptical.
I'll read it first. Don't worry.
And I trust your judgment on that. So obviously you have DC Jerry Pardoe and DS Jamila Patel. These two are obviously the heart of the series. Everything kind of revolves around them. We kind of already talked about how like there seemed to be a shipping of the characters, but like how do you think they work as a detective duo? Do you think that they had good chemistry for that? Would you want to like follow like if they were to make like a TV series of these two characters, would you want to watch the TV show?
I mean, they had somewhat of a chemistry together, but it seemed kind of like, forced a little bit because you're new people. You're two new guy people being together. It's kind of awkward. And then there was that hint of love story in there, and I was like, oh, they could have been two awkward people getting to know each other because she is his superior, and you didn't have to really do that. If we took about that romance element, I would be so totally on board with watching it.
Yeah.
And I want to, I want to see them get a groove together because you're two new people. You're my, I'm your, your superior and you're my subordinate. Like, how are we gonna do this dynamic? I mean, if you watch shows like, Midsummer Murder, that dynamic between, the head detective and, his little sergeant is amazing. Because, I love me some, Midsummer Murders. Ben Jones, I love you. And Tom Barnaby, I love you. Because you have those two dynamic that comes together. She's a female, she's a superior, and younger than, Pardoe. And you want to see that little bit of clash between them. You don't want to see them all buddy work together.
Yeah.
I want to see a little bit of clash because the dude been on the force for a while and he's still a DS and she's a, DC or whatever you want to call it. You so you want to see that little, like, damn, I should have been a DS a long time ago, a DS a long time ago, and yada yada. You want to see that tension. I don't want to see a rants. No, give me the tension between those two.
Yeah, a little bit of tension. Don't get me wrong. Like, I want you to be able to like work well together. I want there to be like I want you to be a productive duo in the storytelling. But like much like Mulder and Scully, like you have that like they had like that chemistry of one believes, one doesn't believe. They go back and forth and they fight because they're trying to get the information. These two very much felt like old friends coming together, and working together again. There didn't seem to be this newness. Like what the book takes place over like the course of like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like they've been friends the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
And not like meeting each other for the first time, which that's where I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, it was. Because I'm like, I'm not having my DC sleeping on my couch. I don't know you like that.
Right.
Why are you coming to my house to drink coffee? We can meet on the corner.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. There seemed to be a quick camaraderie that like went, like they had to have known each other already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the way that they were introduced, it sounded like they weren't. And honestly, like there could have been some really great tension between them because he's just like the regular, like, detective or whatever. And she is specifically there for crimes that have things to do with minorities in England.
Yeah. And
like,
she came from Scotland Yard, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, she came from Scotland Yard. So it's like there's so much room, so much there for there to be like a little bit of like apprehension, a little bit of tension, a little bit of like, I don't know, like conflict, and not to be conflict for the sake of conflict, but conflict because there's just differences that, like, they don't know each other. I don't know. I like the chemistry, but I don't like the chemistry at the same time. It's like why are you guys getting along so well? Like, you're getting along way too well, way too quick.
Yeah, because he also talks about, like, the differences that they have. Like, she is of different race and whatnot, and he's of this race. You could have that little tension there, too.
And without it being racist, also.
Yeah, without it being racist, you could have that tension, yeah?
It could just be complete ignorance of cultural aspects. Of him going, hey, I got you a sandwich. Oh, I'm sorry, it has pork on it. I didn't know that you don't eat pork.
Yeah.
Like, it could be something along those lines, like just slight ignorance, but like, it was weird how quick they got together. But you had so much other stuff going on in the book that I feel like that could be like the least of your worries. I mean, like, I feel like that's us kind of nitpicking.
Yeah.
But like, which character do you find more compelling, and how do you want to see it kind of develop further into the series?
Actually, I was really more compelled with the DS Pardoe. Maybe it's because he was like the first person that we were introduced to, but he felt like
DC Pardoe?
Yeah, DC. But he felt more grounded, and yet you didn't know much about him. And I wanted to learn more about him throughout the whole, series. And then you find out, all this other stuff. But I gravitated more towards him because he did kind of remind me of some of the DCs of Midsummer Murder. He had like qualities of like a little bit of each of them. And so I wanted to know more about him.
I was actually quite intrigued by him as well. He kind of reminded me of Simon Pegg's character in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
When he kind of like got comfortable in the little town. Does that make sense? So it's like, I'm like, okay, I want to know, like, how did you get to the point that you were at? I know he kind of like alluded to having wanted to move forward, but then like chose not to. Like, I want to know more.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know a little bit more of his thing. And it's not to say that Jamila isn't an intriguing character, because she actually is too. I would love to understand like her background and everything. But I don't know. He felt a little bit more approachable.
Yeah.
As a character. So he would be a reason to see how it continued. So this whole book.
Even as a standalone detective, I would probably be like geared more towards him. Like, even if he was the only one doing this whole research by himself, I would probably be still, more intrigued with him.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Jamila, she was great and all. I mean, but it seemed like she was just kind of added in, really.
Yeah.
As an afterthought, because I didn't really gravitate towards her. I mean, as a woman of color, you would think, I would like gravitate towards her. But no, I was like, it seemed like you were kind of added in here as a second thought, really.
Yeah, it kind of felt like she was added in to be the Scully to his Mulder, because he seemed to be kind of like right on board as soon as she was like, oh yeah, there's these stories about the the Jin and like all this kind of stuff, and he's like, okay, sounds good, like let's work with that. But she was the one who was like, no, it can't be this, and he's just like, you literally just told me a story about this.
Yeah, right.
What are you talking about? So I kind of felt like she was the Scully to his Mulder. However, I think she was like, it kind of felt like she was added specifically because they used other characters who were from similar cultural backgrounds as herself.
Yeah.
And like, that was like, I don't want to say that was the only reason, but like, that was like the main reason. And it's like, okay, I don't know. Maybe it's like that specific part of London. And so it makes more sense if you know that area.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I agree with you. It felt very last minute added. I can see exactly what you were saying. So this whole thing, though, is based off of possessed clothing, for lack of a better term, I guess you could say. Obviously, horror has done this concept. You have Christine, you have Annabelle,
Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky, Zuni, the fetish doll. We have all sorts of stuff. Where do you put this possessed clothing in the rank of like a lot of these traditional or well-used horror vehicles.
I mean, it's a unique horror, a unique horror vehicle actually, because you get like everyday inanimate objects. You don't really think about clothes as being possessed because who does? It's stuff we wear every day. So it makes it very unique and interesting because we all wear clothes.
Yeah.
We all want to live. Like it makes you think twice, really, about wanting to wear clothes, especially secondhand clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh,
Nudist
okay.
colonies are sounding more and more inviting.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't wanna, who, did somebody die in this? Did they die in this? What's going on? Oh, the pieces themselves. Yeah. So it makes you rethink your life choices about clothing. So I really enjoyed it because it was like, oh, it's something different because you could do a possessed car every day. You could do a possessed doll every day. But clothing? Nah, that's something different. That I rate that pretty high.
Yeah.
Among my list.
I mean, beyond even that, like it tackled like all sorts of aspects of it because it was obviously there was the used clothing that you got from like the charity shops or thrift stores essentially. Then you had the fact that there was clothing that was stolen, taken to another factory, then reused, like torn apart to be reused to make multiple garments. So the whole sustainability portion, including even new company or new products from companies who actually will take old clothing and recycle it by making new fibers out of old stuff.
Yeah.
So you're not even just looking at like, just getting stuff at the thrift shop. You're looking at even getting stuff at like a brand new store.
Yeah.
And because we're trying to be good to the environment, less wasteful. We're trying to reduce, reuse, recycle. And that's how we're going to end up all possessed by cannibalistic clothing souls. Yeah. Okay. It was interesting. Definitely that's a new one. Haven't seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of not mad at it. I actually really liked that aspect of it. Obviously, it's kind of personal, kind of intimate, because it's something that is touching your skin.
Oh, yeah.
It carries your scent, your shape, whatever. How do you think Graham exploited that intimacy to maximize that effect?
I mean, in a way, it was kind of like non-consensual consent because you consent to wearing clothes, but you don't consent to being possessed, And that's very intimate because you're putting on your clothes, you're making yourself look better and whatnot. And then at the same time, you're getting ridden by some sort of virus. That's no. And even the clothing are calling to you. Because at one scene, the one of the girls is like, she looked at the jacket and it was
the charity shop chick?
Yeah. And then she's like, you have a choice of wearing it, but this thing is seducing you. That's very intimate. It's playing on your feelings and your emotions and everything else. Is stroking your ego, and then you wear it.
Yeah.
And then things happen. So like I said, it's non-consensual consent.
Yeah.
Because you consent to being wearing clothes, but you don't get consent to being, possessed.
Yeah.
And he uses that intimacy so well, and yet so disturbing that it makes you think twice about wearing clothes. If I could be like naked 24/7, I would be in a nudist colony doing that. But I don't want people looking at my body 24/7. Okay? At some point, I want to put on clothes.
Completely understand. If it helps, there's a few colonies down here in Florida.
No, thank you.
Completely understand. Yeah. Like the fact that when they did the autopsy and there were fibers of the fabric in the skin to the point where it looked like hair. The fuck? That is creepy. That is so creepy. Ugh. Makes my skin crawl. Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that like the clothing would force itself on you.
Yeah.
No means no, bitch.
Like even the scene with, the internal scene with Mindy and the older lady, like
Yeah.
you can see Mindy slowly being eroded away.
Mm-hmm.
She really didn't consent to that because she's a 9-year-old child who hasn't
Mm-hmm.
fully become aware of who she is. At least
Mm-hmm.
some of the people were able to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
The first character, she chose to kill herself because she knew what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
And so, it's like you're slowly eroding my personality so you could come back to life. No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't consent to that. And poor Mindy really didn't consent to that because she's 9 years old and she doesn't know who she is. And I hated that.
Yeah. And the fact that specific ghost virus
Kept
was,
hopping from people to people.
well, that was one of the ones that had been embedded into multiple articles of clothing, which got purchased and used and the whole nine. So that ghost lived in multiple places. But like she put that child into an extremely dangerous situation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is a child who got picked up by an older man, taken to his house, made to look at a fish
That was not really there.
that wasn't really there, and he started touching her. Granted, it was just rubbing her shoulders, but still, he was touching her. You put a minor in that position.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that you ended up, like, completely, like, tearing that guy apart, as you should, but, like, you put a little girl at risk.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, I'm glad he got what he got. I personally would have done a whole lot worse to him, but I'm glad he got what he got. Obviously, secondhand clothing is an angle to all of this because you have to think about the economic vulnerability of it, the class of economic class that people would be in who would normally go to a secondhand shop, all that kind of stuff. And the people being infected are largely of those who shop at thrift stores. How do you think that choice worked for this story?
I mean, for me, it was like everyday people trying to survive, and it makes it work because of the fact that they're everyday people trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the choice of, getting to buy new clothes every single day.
Yeah.
Unlike, those who have money, like, oh, I want a new shirt today. Yay. Those who live paycheck to paycheck are like, well, I can't afford a new shirt, but I can afford a gently used shirt or gently used pants. And so it works because of the fact that anybody in this little area could get infected.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes your pool, the infected pool larger, and you could be anybody. I mean, from, the young little girl
Mm-hmm.
to a crackhead
Mm-hmm.
or a meth head or whatever he was, a meek husband. You have a whole array of victims
Yeah.
to choose from. And
Even
so
that shop owner, like,
that shop owner, Sophia or Sophie. And so you have this whole abundant victims that you could have
mm-hmm.
chosen to be part of this madness. I mean, even if there were secondhand shops, like what happened to Minnie's parents, they came alive. They came back
Mm-hmm.
alive because their clothes are like, oh shit, they're dead.
Yeah.
And so the infection infected their clothes. And they
Mm-hmm.
try to come after everybody else. So it's like, if you use it for rich people, it's not going to be effective because they're not going to buy secondhand clothes. Not that
Mm-hmm.
many rich people I know buy secondhand clothes. And I know a lot of rich people.
I mean, even if they do, they're doing it through vintage shops,
Yeah.
like very specific places where it's a curation of clothing that's being picked, not willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I mean, it also hits like not even just the secondhand clothing side of it, because like that is, I mean, I can't really add more to what you said when it came to that. Like you hit the nail on the head. It definitely targeted the everyday human. the middle class, the lower class, those who have to stretch their dollars. But then you go and you look at even the new clothing. When you go and you look at the type of clothing it wasn't stuff that like upper class people would be buying.
No.
It wasn't stuff that the rich people or the fancy people would be buying. It was all, again, stuff specifically made for a lower income bracket / class.
Yeah, and you also have those navy jackets.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to be wearing a navy jacket unless they're really into like, wearing military garb.
Mm-hmm.
And usually most people I know who are into wearing military garb are those who budget and save for said military garb.
Mm-hmm.
And some rich people.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Ghost Virus plays on a lot of different emotions. So obviously, like, being of a certain economic level and like the normal things that you have to worry about, like that first victim, like her family had to arrange her marriage and we're trying to get all of that figured out. And she was having to work like a little job to kind of like, do stuff. But you also have like the fear of losing control of your own actions. Like ordinary, decent people committing horrific acts. Like, what was it? Mindy was 9?
Yeah.
A 9-year-old chopping off a man's penis, frying it up, and then eating it in front of him.
Or, killing her parents.
Killing her parents. Or Sophie with the eyes.
Yeah. And, the meek husband, I forget his name, but in the end, he like ripped the whole sweater off himself. I was like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Because he kind of said,
Meek's
like,
son. Meek's son. It was his mom. His
mom's sweater.
Yeah.
Or something. And he ripped it off of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, for me, it was like each situation, people were letting this other personality ride them and take over. And then you have the few who are like, you know what? No.
Right.
I'd rather die.
Right.
I don't know if I would rather die, but at the same time, I'm like,
yeah. I
mean, it's the fear of dying and yet the fear of losing control of, your own self.
Mm-hmm.
And that's both times is like the fear of dying.
Yeah.
Like the clothes don't want to die again, but the person, who they're, trying to take over doesn't want to die either. But they also know that if I don't take control of this situation, I'm going to be gone. So I'd rather take control of this situation and be gone myself instead of you taking over. And
I'd rather go my way than your way.
And that way was like more of, I'm going to eat human flesh and to make sure I'm like, sustained and whatnot. And it begs the question, do you have to eat human flesh every single day or until that new personality takes over?
Yeah, that was my question. Like, because they were like, oh, we need to eat so we can like regain our body. But like, what are you going to like shit out a body? Or you have to have so much cannibalism in order for you to become, it's like to kill the other soul. Like, I need to know.
Yeah, that was one of those questions. I was like, did somebody successfully, or do they have to still eat people? Because if you're still eating people at this time and you still have to wear those clothes, you're going to get charged with murder either way.
Yeah.
I need y'all ghosts to be a little bit smarter here.
And obviously, like the guy from Lithuania.
Yeah. Jacobs.
Yes, that's his name. I was like, I cannot remember his name to save my life right now. He gave like some behind the scenes lore of the virus, but like nowhere near enough for me to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like there's still so much we don't know. And I'm wondering if it comes up later.
Yeah. And the fact that these clothing were turning people violent makes me wonder, like, what if they took, a violent person and they wore the clothes, like, will they become violent? Will they become even more violent or be like, no, I'm not going to do that. This is going to be a test of wills. It's like, you could ride me all you want, but see, that's what I wanted to see that too. Like you have all these innocent people getting, infected. What about that one violent person? Would he go extremely violent or he'd be like, no.
Right.
Like you inhabited the wrong body.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to eat your soul.
Right.
And also keep your jacket because it's a cool jacket.
I mean, the way he described some of the articles, I was like, oh, that actually kind of sounds pretty.
I know, right? Like, I want to wear that too. And then you're like,
it's like, oh, I'd wear that. Yeah, exactly. There is a broader anxiety in this book that looks kind of beneath the surface of ordinary life. You have the meek guy, you have the caring head teacher, you have the young woman, all become capable of this horrific violence. What do you think that says about being able to trust people around us?
It says a lot because anybody could become violent at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
We could trust, like, a child, but there have been known to have child killers. So we put our faith in humanity, but humanity tends to fail us.
I mean, look at Ted Bundy. Like,
right? A handsome man who did horrific things.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you have like a lot of trustworthy people that at the surface level, yeah, they're trustworthy, but are you really trustworthy?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's a lot of child killers out there. Like, oh, that's his child. It was okay, but that child killed like 12 people. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit. And you had that head teacher. She loved kids. Next thing you know, oh, she killed 2 children. So you don't know what happens in people's lives. Okay, so it's like every day without the clothes. Let's just take the clothing, ghost fires out.
Yeah.
Something will cause some of these people to snap at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though they're meek and mild and whatnot, something's gonna cause them to snap. And so it makes me wonder, like, do I really know you and trust you enough, or should I be weary of you? Just because you're like all happy-go-lucky and kumbaya-ish doesn't mean like I have to love you all day.
Yep.
Because something might happen. You might snap.
Oh yeah.
And then I might be like a headline.
And I mean, hello. There's the whole Snapped TV series of ordinary people who just had too much. Like, yeah. So, PSA, workaholics, do your self-care so you don't snap. Have a therapist. I promise you, they do wonders. Shop around for a good one. Find your right fit. That is important. Not every therapist is meant for every patient. But, yeah, no, take care of yourself so you don't snap on people. But, yeah, no, this seeing people who seemed so nice, because you had everybody who was like, we don't know what happened. We don't know how this happened. Everything was good. Everything was like fine. Then it all went crazy, and even when, like the meek husband guy, his wife was backing him up. Like it sounds like she always does, of like, yeah, I know your mom's a horrid woman. So I know it's been really stressful for you emptying out her house. I'm so sorry for you. And he's like, don't talk about her like that, because obviously he's being overtaken by his mother. But like, it's like a whole Norman Bates situation. Even in that moment, like, she was even like, you good, bro? Like, are we okay? Is everything all right? Like, why are you acting weird?
Yeah.
These people were like night and day different from like what they normally were. So the fact that like it could happen like that, where it was just like, boom, 1 second he was fine, the next second he was absolutely insane. It does make you wonder. It makes you want to be vigilant in knowing if your friends are okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ghostwriters takes place in Tooting, which is a very diverse working class borough of London. How well does Masterton capture that setting and community in the book? And does it feel authentic? Granted, like, we personally don't know a lot about that area specifically, but like, does it feel real?
As somebody who likes to watch British horror, British comedy,
Mm-hmm.
British mysteries, it did feel, authentic to me because it's a place that exists in the real world,
Yeah.
and he makes it feel like it could be, a home if you decide to make it a home. And I enjoyed, Tooting because it kind of reminds me of a little bit of Megan in a way, because Megan is like one of the smaller, bigger cities. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what Tooting kind of reminds me of. It's supposed to be a small town city, but it's bigger than you think. You know?
It's kind of like where I'm from. I call it a little big town.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like a little big town. You know it's a kind of like a little small city, but then you have all this stuff that happens. Like you have all these
Mm-hmm.
streetways, these shops, the diversity, and then it makes it very 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 real for me. And in a way, I kind of want to visit Tooting, to see
Yeah.
if it's kind of like that.
Yeah. No, it definitely did make it feel real, especially when he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go to the cafe, go to the shops, and oh, it's over at this cathedral," or it, they the verbiage that he used made it feel real, whether or not it is or isn't. I know it is. I did small research, make sure it actually is a place, but like to have it feel have it feel real without ever being there, I thought
Yeah.
was nice. You know, how does for a horror fiction having some of those like real elements work for you?
Mm,
Because I mean, we have a lot of uh, with us being volunteers on the urban fantasy track, we have a lot of real urban situations blended with supernatural fantasy everything's things like Stranger Things, Buffy, all of that. They all kind of have like this similar esque supernatural aspect blending into the real world situation. Like how effective does that work for you?
I mean, it's like I said, with the criminal procedural, it
Mm-hmm.
grounds it to where it makes it real, and then you have that little hint of horror that makes it, the horror supernatural that makes it real enough that you think it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because every dead body wears secondhand clothes, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody can snap at any point, you know. And so it blends really well, and and I believe that anybody who likes horror or true crime, criminal procedurals, or just anything weird,
Yeah.
they would enjoy this because it's weird.
Yeah.
And any hybrid genre that could actually do that to make it more accessible to more audiences, it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. And I would, with my sister-in-law, because she's like, she's a chemistry teacher, she'll probably like find it really effective, but also at the same time yell at Jamila and like Patel and Pardoe, because I was yelling at them too, because I was like, a quick Google search would have saved you trouble about the
Right.
people, these personalities.
Right.
Okay. A quick Google
Right.
search. Hell, you could even went to the hospital that, one of the victims was talking about, one of the possessed was talking about. It's like, hey, I'm working on a case and it involves this person. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have this person? Would this person actually die here?
Yeah.
You could have just done that. And you'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
you know what? Okay. They're all saying the same thing. They're all possessed. Okay, this is real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all couldn't have done a Google search. Y'all had to like go around the world.
I mean, for detectives, they
Detective
were,
me.
yeah, they weren't very detective-y.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
did one
no,
Google search about, the stories about, clothing taking over people. That was about it. I
yeah,
was like,
yeah. I again, like, I liked there being that criminal justice, police procedural kind of like background to it because it gave you like normality. But like, yeah,
mm,
it's just like, um, guys, why would you not ask this question? But I'm also a very curious person. So I ask a lot of questions that most people probably wouldn't think of.
And you don't want to push the victims / possessed people too hard because they'll probably shut down. So
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, you need to push harder. Okay.
Right?
Push harder.
Like, it wasn't until like what, the last like couple of chapters of the book that they even got anything out of
Jacobs.
Not him. Patella? Is that
Patel?
who was possessing Mindy? Like yeah. Started with a V.
Yeah, started with a V. Yeah.
We'll call her V.
Yeah, some of these names I was having problems with. I was like, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm gonna go with Varushna.
Yeah. And part of the problem with doing audio listening versus reading it is some of the names you go, oh, okay. Like if you hear it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that looks like how they would spell it or whatever. And then it like sinks in. Just hearing it over and over again and you going, what is that name again? It's the ADHD. I know I heard it. My brain did not process it. I'm so sorry. But like, okay. Question. If you had to solve this case, where would you have started?
Firstly, I
have no idea where I would have started. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea where I would have started.
Are you talking about like the first victim?
Like if you were the DC or the DS on this case, you came to where it all started. How would you have worked the case?
First off, like, if I'll make sure, like, if your CSI people are there, make sure they take pictures of everything and compare stuff. But if I were to, like, do investigation, I would also do like a lot of questioning, a lot of Google searches, trying to connect people together. Like if you were able to connect people, like connect the dots, it'd been like so much easier, especially with, even though Tooting sounded like a small town, it was actually a bigger town than it was. Pardoe was like onto it. He's like, hey, what happened to that jacket that was over there? It's missing.
Right.
He's like, and he talks about, the jacket to the family. She's like, oh yeah, she got it at a secondhand shop. Huh. Okay. File that away. Oh, this lady worked at a secondhand shop, huh? Okay. File that away. And so, you have to be able to connect the dots better than what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because when I hear secondhand, like she got the jacket at a secondhand shop, and then the second killer, person that got infected was working at a secondhand shop, I'm like, oh, that's a connection right there. Okay. And then, people were finding that same coat everywhere. Oh, that's a connection. A secondhand shop. What's going on with these secondhand clothes going on? What's going on? And then you introduce with the character of Jacobs, whatever. He's been stealing secondhand clothing. Okay. Why are you stealing secondhand clothing? What you doing there, buddy? I'll be like the Punisher. Like, hey, you don't want me in the story. Like, I did kind of imagine myself in the story. But I'm like, y'all, this is what we do in America. Okay. Let me talk to him by myself.
Just me and him. Nobody else needs to be there.
Nobody else needs to be there. I was like, so it's like
we're just gonna have a conversation.
Yeah. And it's like I didn't kill that police officer. I didn't tell him to do that. Yeah, you did. Shut up.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. And I would have connected those dots a lot quicker than most people. That's somebody who likes true crime. I'll be following like the filing away everything. It's like, you got this at a secondhand shop. This is what the thing looks like. You work at a secondhand shop. Your coat's not missing. This is what the coat looked like. That person was wearing that coat. Now that coat's missing. Oh yeah, this has to do something with some secondhand shop now. Okay. All right. Okay. So we talked to the victims, the possessed. Both of them three people kept saying, how they died, who they were. I was like, oh, B died of cancer at this hospital. Three people are saying this name. Okay, let me go do a quick Google search. Okay, so we have something hinky going on here. Y'all three wore the same jacket, the same clothes, and possessed by the same person. And it's the secondhand. Hey, man, you've been stealing our secondhand clothes to do something with. Where you send it off to? What type of mobile, type of hoodoo you've been doing with these clothes? Yeah, I don't care. Just talk to me. Well, I'll talk with you with, if you get these charges. No, I'm not going to talk about those charges. What are you doing with these clothing? What type of magic you putting on them? Why are you
Mm-hmm.
doing it? Stop it.
Right? I think that one thing I would have been doing was asking more questions. There was just not enough questions being asked.
Not the right questions either, too.
No, no. Now, is there a secondhand item of clothing that you would be most afraid of to find possessed?
Turtlenecks. Turtlenecks confuse me. It's like you're being strangled by a very weak person. Because I hate that feeling around my neck. It's like I'm not being strangled, but yet I'm being strangled by a very weak person.
Mm-hmm.
Who invented this and why? I know it's invented to be like warm and stuff and shit, but I'm like, I'm just feeling uncomfortable. Doesn't make me warm. It makes me uncomfortable.
Makes you a little claustrophobic.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If I see a turtleneck coming after me, I'm like, oh no. Why is it coming after me? Oh no, we're gonna have to do something about this turtleneck just slowly making its way towards me. Where's my scissors at? I know how to take care of this. It's called scissors, my friend. And what got me is like, y'all, Patel, Pardoe, y'all stabbed clothes, okay? In
Mm-hmm.
Minnie's house. Y'all were cutting it to shreds. Why couldn't that stick in your mind? You're watching these people shoot these clothing and then get attacked. I remember like, you know what? Let's give them some scissors. Cause at some
I don't
point,
I don't understand how burning things didn't come up sooner.
yeah, my ass would have been like having a torch, a blowtorch, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe a
Flamethrower.
flamethrower.
Yeah.
I'm like, because at the end of the day, you're sitting there thinking, okay, so we're getting attacked by these clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can stop them, really. Realistically speaking, nothing can stop them because you cannot shoot them because the bullets are going to go right through them. They're still intact.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tear gas them because there's nobody to inhale that said tear gas. You
Mm-hmm.
already know that at this one location, you cut some clothing to ribbon.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, hey, how about we get some shears, some chainsaws, and maybe some flamethrowers if they're available
Mm-hmm.
to attack, to defend
Yep.
ourselves. And how easy is a flamethrower to get? How easy is that?
Um, Here in the States, I feel like it would be very easy. Elsewhere, maybe not so much.
Oh, you can get a flamethrower via Amazon. Hey, yo, yeah, flamethrowers for sale. Get
There
it
you
via
go.
Amazon, but I'm not sure if they sell them in like
The UK.
stores. Yeah.
I think Ace Hardware does.
I mean, they were talking about like hardware store places over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go over here, you get like chainsaws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You telling me they don't have flamethrowers up in England? Flamethrowers, England for sale.
I like how we live action Google certain things.
I mean, they are flamethrowers. Are flamethrowers legal in England? Oh, never mind. You probably wouldn't be able to get that at a store.
Mm. I would feel like they would be a little bit more restricted over there. But still, like, how would the military guys and the police guys not have flamethrowers available to them?
Well, I don't know.
I feel like that's like something like police and military would have even over there.
I mean, they don't really have all their policemen don't have guns. Only their SWAT team units.
But that would be who would have the gun or have the flamethrowers.
Mm,
I don't know. We'll have to let our British friends let us know if you were in the UK or you are familiar with UK regulations. Can you get a flamethrower as a regular person? And would like your guys' military and police have flamethrowers? Let us know. We like please actually like let us know. I'm curious now.
I am curious to know because I'm searching down this rabbit hole. God damn it. Okay, it says here Flamethrowers are generally illegal in England. It's for traditional flamethrowers. However, certain devices like gas or liquid-fueled burners may be legal,
Okay,
but it's only designed for agricultural use.
that makes sense.
So, theoretically speaking, a hardware store will probably still have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
They could have gotten some flamethrowers then,
Yeah.
theoretically speaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my ass would been having some flamethrowers and some chainsaws. That'd be like, Ash
Mm-hmm.
from Evil Dead. Like, hell, I'd be like trying to figure out how to, attach the flamethrower to the chainsaw.
Right. Right. Okay. So if if possessed clothing became a real horror subgenre, what would be the ultimate possessed clothing horror film? What would it look like to you?
For me, it wouldn't just be like clothing, but it'd be like jewelry
Okay.
because, a lot of people love jewelry from, the middle class to the upper crest.
Mm-hmm.
So to
Mm-hmm.
see like, some of the upper crest going violent
Yeah.
and cannibalizing, that'd be a pretty fun thing to watch.
I wouldn't say no.
Oh, think about like, a fur coat.
Mm-hmm.
Like the authentic fur coat that's like thousands of dollars and just possesses some, New York socialites and her eating people and, the blood getting all over the fur coat and just soaking it in. And instead of like, trying to take over the person, it's just the coat itself just wants, food, wants the blood and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't do the whole possessing aspect of it,
Okay.
but I would do like it's like, no, I am a person. No, I'm a set of clothes. Yeah, I'm possessed by somebody, but I want to feel that hunger satiated. I'm not going to take over your personality. Oh no. We're going to feel this together. We're doing this together. You know how horrible that would be?
Right.
It's like, oh no, I can't kill this person. Oh no, we are because we're hungry. And I want to feel that blood rushing against my body. Excuse me, ma'am, sir. No.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time they'll override the person. Like, no, we are hungry. And then you see that torment between that person and that whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be like horrible. That'd be horrible.
I would like it to be similar to yours, actually, but it would be clothing from a designer. But it's like it'd be like
one
a
designer.
Hermes bag kind of situation where it's like only like the rich of the rich of the rich can get a hold of this stuff. But this possessed clothing or whatever only goes after the people it like somehow it knows whether or not you have money.
Oh, yeah.
And it only goes after like the rich people. And it makes them do horrendous things that ends up making them not rich. Because too many horror films focus on like the disenfranchised or like the everyday person. No, I want to see somebody who normally doesn't have horrible things happen to them get completely wrecked. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I had a thought in my head and then it went away as we were talking.
I hate it when that happens. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Or if an older aristocratic person was possessed and in order for them to stay immortalized or young again, they actually have to like feed on flesh and blood. And every time they feed on flesh, like a vampire, they turn younger and younger and younger. And at the same time, they're becoming, poorer and poorer and poorer through their actions and whatnot.
Okay. I could see that. Although I won't lie, I feel like there's something similar to that out there. But the name of it's escaping me. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We'll do our final thoughts. Skull rating. Around here, we do 1 to 5 skulls. 1 because, well, they tried. 5 because it's just that fan-fucking-tastic. So, Karen, my friend, where does this book stand for you? What are your final thoughts on it?
Well, for me, I enjoyed the read. The concept's really good. Just take the romance element out. I want to see more tension between, the younger DC versus an older DS. No. Yeah. No.
The other way around.
Yeah, the other way around. The
younger DS, older DC.
Yeah, I want to see that tension because you're like, you're older than your superior, and yet you're still in this limbo. I want to see that kind of tension. Google search is your friend, really is. And I actually enjoyed it, even though there's some parts of it was like you're explaining a lot and not showing a lot. So I have to give it like a 3.5.
Yeah, that's where this one sits for me also. 3.5. Maybe 3.75 on a good day.
Yeah.
I enjoy the book. It was an enjoyable book. It's something that I might actually pick up and read again. But at the same time, there was a couple of things I was like, mostly the pacing for me, like I'm gonna chalk up a lot of the stuff like with Pardoe and Patel. I'm gonna chalk up a lot of their like stuff to it being a series, and we're gonna get what we wanted in this book. We'll get in if we read the series, we'll get it in the other books. But the pacing was a little weird.
Yeah,
and yeah, the pacing that was probably the biggest thing. Like that's what took it from a 5 to a 4. And then just like the little things where I'm like, why didn't you do this?
Mm-hmm.
Or why are you putting a romantic element there that it's not needed?
Oh yeah.
Those kind of things I was like, okay. That's what knocks it a little bit more down.
Yeah.
That's what takes it to that 3.75, 3.5 kind of thing. But overall, it's a good book. I do recommend people read it. This is not a book that I think people shouldn't read. It definitely is worth a good read.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us on our trip today in Tooting. Goose Virus proves that Graham Masterton can make the most gloriously unhinged premise imaginable and make it
is unhinged
and genuinely unsettling. And now none of us really want to ever go to a thrift shop the way we used to. So as always, we do have the best listeners / horrorholics in the horror game, and we are so grateful for each and every single one of you. Everything that you guys do to help support this podcast means the world to us, and we cannot express how much we love and appreciate you and your support. You guys are seriously the best horrorholics ever. Karen, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit.
Groovy. I am T, spilled tea. You can find me on all the things at Spilled Tea Wine Media Mind. But here's the question for you guys. Would you ever shop secondhand? So like a thrift store, stuff like that. Again, after reading Ghost Virus, we want to hear from you. So drop it in the comments, slide into our DMs, or you can email us at earthstationboo@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, share, rate, and do all the things. It actually helps other fellow horror fans and horrorholics find us. So if you haven't already, please do so. Come on in and join the conversation in our Discord. You can find all of the links in our link tree. And don't sleep on the merch store. Super cute stuff. And new episodes out every week. Stay weird. Stay spooky. Our fellow horrorholics. That's a wrap for Earth Station Boo. Thanks for listening. Follow, share, and find all our links in our link tree. Until next time, stay spooky.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.